Hi everybody, I'm Jin, and I think a lot of you guys are still having some problems with how to pin the shoulder or how to turn the shoulder off. And that's one of the biggest challenges to Chinese martial arts and Wing Chun specifically. So it's how do you get that shoulder turned off? And so today, I know that we did another video before on that, but I wanted to do even kind of a little bit more, get a little bit more specific. So this video is short, but it's going to be filled with a lot of very specific things that I want you guys to work on, especially the shoulder, okay, and also the elbow. Okay, so first I get to take off my shirt. Sexy Jin today. Okay, all right. So what I want you to work on is your shoulders. Now, what I see is when I first talked to you guys, the first video, I told you guys it's like a heavy weight on your elbow. So the first key to pinning the shoulder is anchoring that heavy elbow. Okay, if you look at my shoulder, okay, if I anchor this elbow, if I think not about my shoulder, if I think about my elbow and heavy, you're gonna see my shoulder drop. Okay, it drops. Okay. That's the first key. So the first key is don't focus on the shoulder, focus on the elbow. If you focus on the heavy elbow, the shoulder will drop. And it locks into this secure position. Okay? And of course you want to do this both sides. But I'm just showing you this one side for now. Okay? So first, heavy elbow. Get that shoulder to sink and lock and secure it. Okay? Once you do this, you don't want it to float anymore. Okay? When it's here, when it's halfway up or all the way up, your shoulder floats. It floats too much. Okay? So you want to completely pin it down. Okay? So now see, if I try to move my shoulder, it's very difficult because it's pinned. Okay? Alright, so that's the first key. Alright? The problem I think some of you guys are having is when you start to punch. Right? So you're doing this, and when you're doing your form, you think of the heavy elbow and you're pinning, and everything's okay because you're going very slow. Okay? So when I punch, I set the anchor, I set the heavy elbow, I leave it down, and then I punch out. Okay? Boom. Now, when I punch out, okay, the first thing is I don't want the shoulder to pop back up. Okay? So when I come back position, see my shoulder pops back up, and then I pin it and then throw it out. I don't want to do this action. I want the shoulder to completely be pinned, so that's it. See? Now I'm punching, but my shoulder is locked. There's no play in the shoulder. Okay? Like this. I don't want it to go like this and then up and then back down. Up and then back down. This is no good. Okay? And your shoulders are going to get tired. Your deltoids, your shoulders, your traps, okay, because they're constantly being used. Now, another thing is when you guys start punching faster. So once you start practicing too fast, okay, then what happens is even I have everything right, heavy elbow, pin the shoulder, okay, and I start to punch, okay, but then I start to go faster and faster. What happens is that you start to throw the shoulder forward. Okay, it starts to go forward. See this? So I'm keeping it down, but see my shoulder? It goes forward too much. Okay, like this. If you practice like this, then it's like holding a weight because my shoulder's in front of my body, right? Like this. It's like holding a weight in your hand now. It becomes very heavy, and your shoulders start to get really burned out. Okay, and if you do this, you're also going to your body's going to tend to want to sway the shoulders left like this. Okay, this is no good now. Okay, you just ruined the structure. You've lost your body structure behind your elbow. So when I'm talking about pinning the shoulder, I'm talking about pinning it through the whole range of motion of your punch. All right? So you pin it, heavy elbow, it's locked in position, okay? Then I punch, okay? Even when I'm doing Ji Chun Choi, right? I want that shoulder to have no play, okay? Right? I don't want it to go forward, okay? And I think that's what a lot of you guys are doing, okay? You're practicing right, you practice slow and it's good, okay? And this just does not only apply to your punch. It applies to every movement that you do. Your tan sao, heavy elbow, and tan. See? If your shoulder is going forward as you tan out, then that means this is no good anymore. Okay? Or you fook sao, right? Pin the shoulder, you fook out. Okay? But then if you start drifting the shoulder forward as you creep, this is no good anymore. Okay? You completely lost your body frame behind your elbow and your hand. Okay? So when you're doing this your Silam Tao form and these movements, these basic movements, you have to pin the shoulder one, but also pin it through the whole range of motion of that movement. Okay? So that it's not going forward anymore. It's locked in place. It's pinned. Okay? And that's how come I tell you guys, if you do this movement correctly, the pinning the shoulder, you can punch as hard as you want, right? Punch as hard as you want, okay? And I cannot lock out my elbow. But see, look, if you look at my elbow, right? I'll pin my shoulder. If you see my elbow lock out, I'm gonna actually force my elbow to straighten out. But watch my shoulder. Okay? I'm going to straighten out. See my shoulder? There's no choice. Once the elbow locks out, the shoulder has to come up or forward like that. Okay? But if I force it down and hold it down and punch as hard as I want, okay? You're going to see this kind of little bit of an angle here. It's not completely straight. And why? Because the shoulder will not allow the elbow to come up any higher because it's pinned. So I can punch as hard as I want and put my whole body structure behind that punch, behind the elbow, and not worry about throwing out my elbow or hurting my shoulder. Okay? So when you're practicing your Silam Tao form, really focus on that part of your training. Okay? Pinning the shoulder and really locking it in place. Okay? And I'm not talking about forcing it down, right? But dropping it down heavy. Hawkins Chung, he says, pretend like you're getting old. You're getting old. Your shoulders dry. Old. You're getting old. Getting old, man. Right? Then from here, you're training. Okay? Now it's locked in place. All my training here is the shoulder doesn't pop up. It doesn't go forward. Okay? Got it? So practice that. Okay? That way you get that part. It is one of the most difficult challenges in the beginning stages, but I promise you that once you really start to get it, that you really be able to utilize the body structure behind your elbow, okay? Because it can transfer all its power past the shoulder and into your elbows and into your hands, okay? And that's the whole tutorial. It's all about developing the body structure, okay? So without this pinned shoulder at all times, right, then you can't utilize that power, okay? So practice it in your form, your Silam Tao form, practice it in your movements, practice it on the wooden dummy, practice it all the time when you're training. Constantly remind yourself, don't allow that shoulder to pop back up. Okay? So thank you very much. Practice. And just like one of the subscribers, I forgot your name, I was really sorry, but he sent me his video on, he asked me, why is my deltoids hurting? And he was brave enough to put up a video and show me. So I critiqued him through the video. So I thought that was a great way for me to correct some errors. So you guys are welcome to do that. If you want to set, there's also a way to set it on private. If you want, you don't want anyone to see it, then just add me to your YouTube as a friend, and then you can you can pick and choose who you choose to see your video. So that's always an option, okay? But I think that's a wonderful way for me to be able to help you, okay? But I encourage everyone to put up their videos and have everyone here help you. A lot of these people have a lot of experience, subscribers in the tutorial. They have a lot of experience. They can also give you a lot of advice, you know. I'm not always right, you know, so, and I'm just like you guys, I'm always learning, so I want the feedback. So don't be afraid to show what you're doing, your progression, okay, and then having a lot of people critique you. I think that's the best way to learn, okay? So thank you very much, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.